Hey everyone, and welcome to the Tippity Top Podcast, the show where we discuss our top personal picks for various random topics. I am your wonderful host, Tyler, and today I am joined by my wonderful co-hosts, Chipper Thurber,
Hey!
Kyle Steinley,
Howdy.
and the illustrious Brennan Matthews.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen?
Guys, it's the first episode. How, on a scale of not at all to kind of, how pumped are you?
Fucking ecstatic!
Put me at
go.
a nice simple woo.
Okay.
I'm wearing a suit
Why are you wearing a suit?
because I just came back from a photo shoot. It's a
I
long
wasn't
story.
prepared.
Oh, porn.
All right. Well, we're going to get right into it. If you guys don't know how the Tippity Top Podcast works, which you shouldn't because it's the first episode, basically, we're just going to run down our top 5 of our topic, which today is sitcoms, which I should have said earlier. It's sitcoms. We're talking about sitcoms today, guys.
Damn straight.
Y'all love
Yeah,
sitcoms.
yeah.
They're great. They're funnier than any other show because they're supposed to be.
Yeah.
And we're talking about...
Now, can we clarify exactly what a sitcom is?
So a sitcom is a show that is classified by Wikipedia as a sitcom. At
I
least
didn't
that's the
cross-reference
rule I went
Wikipedia.
by.
A situational comedy.
Yeah, it's a situational comedy. Live action shows about people in mundane situations that make you laugh. Or not mundane, but realistic. Or not, I guess depending... I don't really know what classifies as a sitcom, if I'm being completely
It
honest.
doesn't have
but-
to be
Look
realistic.
it up and post in the comments, please.
Yeah, it's just whatever. If you believe in your heart of hearts that it is a sitcom, then you can talk about it on the show and just fucking go for it. There's no rules.
Yeah.
Who needs rules?
Yeah. So the rules of the podcast. We're gonna break it down for you. So we're gonna go through each of our individual top 5 sitcoms. We're gonna start with our number 5s. We're gonna go around the room and work our way up to our number 1s. So today we're gonna start with Chipper. And Chipper, hit it off. What is your number 5 sitcom?
So I'm going to hit you with a mean one. Everybody's favorite. Chowder.
Chowder's not a sitcom.
No, I know.
Even though I just said anything is a sitcom if you believe that it is.
I know.
Well, way to crush his hopes and dreams.
That's what made me change my number 5. No, my real number 5 is Everybody Hates Chris.
Go.
I've never
Alright.
watched that show.
That show is actually
do you
really
know?
fucking good.
It's
Really?
amazing.
What's it about?
Well, it's about this little kid named Chris. I don't know if it's supposed to be Chris Rock when he was a kid. He is the narrator. And the character's name is Chris, so I don't know if it's about his life.
It actually
But-
is.
Huh?
I said it actually is.
Okay, that's what I thought. I just wasn't sure if it was just a coincidence. But it's just about this kid Chris who just, he's a poor African-American boy. And he lives in... He lives in New York City. I don't know what
Yeah, it was
part,
in the Bronx, I think.
that's what I thought. Okay. And he's just, it's just him going through life, living life, going to school, figuring out problems because he's like the trouble child kind of. It's weird because everybody hates him, That's the title. But I love it because I grew up on it. Just like it would always be on in the morning right before I went to school. And it wasn't inappropriate, but it was like it would say words like damn. So like as a kid I was like, oh, this is a bad show. I need to watch it. I'm gonna be a bad kid.
I'm gonna be a bad boy. I'm gonna watch the shows where they say the swears.
Yeah, damn and hell were the only things they would say.
That's still pretty edgy for like a 7-year-old though.
Super.
I know. It was amazing to just hear those words and then my mom not turn off the TV. Oh, glorious.
I remember I said "oh my god" once in 5th grade, or not 5th grade, 1st grade. Sorry, and I got yelled at for swearing by a bunch of fucking narcs that were sitting by me.
What's it, narcs? I'd have been like, and no one will remember your fucking names, losers.
But one of the part of the humor is everybody literally just picks on this kid, Chris, and just everything is his fault. Anything that goes wrong, they just blame it on him, and he has to deal with it. And there's a lot of situations where he's like, "What are you talking about? It wasn't me." And he has to like try to
You really painted a picture there for me.
you know.
I feel like I've watched the show now.
Yeah, like, do I even need to fucking watch it? Like, I
You
feel I've
should.
experienced it to the fullest.
Where do I leave the Yelp review?
Yeah. The only bad part is it's kind of like every episode's very similar. It's just it starts off with, Chris, you're poor, blah blah blah, you can't afford this, and everybody's just picking on him. And then something goes wrong, like his brother or his sister does something wrong, or something in the house breaks, or something goes wrong at school, and everybody just blames it on him, and he has to go through and find out what happens. And ultimately, he doesn't, he can't get anybody to be on his side.
So there's no like resolution at all. It's just like at the beginning of the episode, like, yeah, fuck you, Chris, and then at the end of the episode, it's like, yeah, fuck you, Chris, and that's like the whole show.
There's like
Pretty
minor
much.
resolutions.
Yeah, it's
they're
like,
nothing like that change anything as far as tone of the show.
Okay, fair.
yeah, it's like, oh, Chris, you were right, and then his mom would be like, now do the dishes or something.
Yeah,
Cool.
like the end of the episode will be like how he's gonna get fist fucked in the next episode, pretty much.
Yeah, pretty much.
So
Wow, you really made me want to take a look at that show. Seems like a fun ride.
It is. It's my number 5, so
there we go.
Cool.
deal with it.
Nice.
Brennan.
Kyle.
Yeah, go.
Oh,
Oops.
Kyle. I'm sorry, I
It is
forgot
the
the
order.
order. We didn't
See how it
predetermine
is?
the order before we started this.
No.
Kyle, you wanna? Yeah,
Oh,
go
no.
ahead. What's your number
Let
5?
me sorry, I got lost in my script for a second. Let me turn around. No. But no, my number 5, it was a toss-up for me, but I ended up landing with The Office. Now, I know that this is a show that a good amount of people like, and they might be like, well, geez, Kyle, why is it your number 5? And I'm just going to say it's because Steve Carell left. But, it's fine.
That's a valid reason.
But I do like it after Steve Carell left, just not as much. Also not enough to finish it, because I still haven't finished it. But that's okay.
You're not the only one. I haven't finished it either since Steve Carell left, if I'm being honest.
Skip to the last episode. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I heard the last episode's super good, so I'm definitely going to finish it at some point. But, I just feel like the show's, it's really lovable. Also feel like I don't have to describe how it works. I feel like everyone's seen the show at this point. But, it's just really, it's really lovable. It's really, like, I can just toss it on whenever I just want to, like, if I have nothing to watch, I'll be like, well, I guess I'll watch an episode of The Office. I can toss it up, and it's a good time, So, solid number 5 for me.
Cool. I respect that. I really like The Office. I'm a big fan.
Yeah, it's definitely like good, but doesn't hit all of my like favorite things in a TV show.
Right.
So like it's good enough to get to my top 5, but all those shows that like this kind of show that I like is like my 4 through 1. So like it deserves all the praise for getting into my top 5.
See, my problem with The Office is everybody's, it's one of my favorite, except for, the last 3 seasons and the first half of the first season. Like, is that really a good show then?
Well, that's fair.
Yeah, that is fair.
I
also
haven't
feel
watched
like-
season
That's a valid
1.
point.
Yeah.
I mean-
I feel like it's one of those shows that's like super, super overhyped too, because it's
It
like
really
I put off
is.
watching it for years. Like I only started watching it like a year or two ago. And like everyone said, it's like, this is the funniest show you will ever experience in your life. Like it will change the way you view comedy. There's no show that is funnier on planet Earth that has ever been funnier or will be funnier than The Office. And I watch it and I'm like, I really enjoy this. Am I laughing my ass off? No.
Yeah. I do feel like it did like give a lot to like TV comedy in general, like the style it does.
Oh, yeah.
With like the looking directly at the camera kind of thing.
Yeah,
I feel
the
like it really,
mockumentary. Yeah.
yeah, it definitely like did a lot for comedy and TV shows, and I can give it credit for that.
Sure.
It was definitely groundbreaking in general for sitcoms.
Definitely, yeah.
And like the first 3 seasons are really good, so that's why I would consider it a good show, but it's not going to make my list because of the whole. It's not in general, it is a good show just because of the first 3 seasons are amazing. But then it's like anything after that, and also only the first half of the first season is good, or the second half.
I wouldn't
But,
say
like,
that. I don't know. I mean,
I
think,
guess it's not the half. It's like a little more than half the season is good, but it's like they didn't find their wings until later in the first season, and it was just like
the
I
first
don't
season's only
consider
6
that
episodes. You're talking about it like.
See, I guess my take
Yeah,
on
the
The
first
Office.
like 2 episodes kind of suck.
Yeah, my
Yeah,
take
that's
on The Office real quick. There are some parts that are pretty hilarious. Then there are other parts that I think it is the stupidest fucking show on television.
Yeah, I agree with that 100%.
Like, there's some parts where like I genuinely feel bad that like you can like witness like the whole like mockumentary vibe. You can witness like other characters witnessing. Okay, this has turned to shit. Like really quick.
Yeah,
So-
it is like that's why it didn't make it onto my list, because like while I do really like the show, and it is one of those shows you can kind of just throw on any episode and just chill and like, you know, it's relaxing, whatever. Like
It's good for background noise.
yeah, exactly. But like some of the parts are just like so cringy, and it just makes me uncomfortable, and I'm like, I don't know if I want to keep watching this, because I'm like, I don't know. But I guess that's part of the appeal. Like that's why a lot of people like it, I think, is because of that. It's just not my style of humor.
Damn. So we're really dissing Kyle's number 5.
I like the show. It's just like I had to justify why I saw it on my list.
Yeah. It was teetering number 5, but it has not made my list either.
Yeah, it almost made my number 5, but it got beat up.
It was very close for my number 5 with actually Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but
Oh,
because
boy.
Brooklyn Nine-Nine's pretty tasty. But
That show is awesome.
I have a feeling we're gonna be talking about that later.
Oh,
with,
we're gonna be
with
talking
you.
about that definitely later.
oh my,
All right. Well, let's
I haven't watched
move
enough
ahead.
of it. But
And hit me with your 5 there.
Man,
Banana bread.
my number 5 is Big Bang Theory.
Oh shit.
Oh,
ooh.
I used to love that show.
That show. Now, granted, towards the end, like when Sheldon actually had sex and like actually
Sheldon had sex?
yeah.
I didn't finish the show, full disclosure.
Are you serious?
Dude, I stopped watching like once I moved out of my parents' house. So
I
I
thought
only
we
got
talked
like
about this before.
maybe we did, but I don't remember it. I feel like I
so
would've.
Sheldon gets the cheeks.
does he say bazinga when he finishes?
Yes.
oh my
When he resurfaces from the sheets, he says bazinga. and like, and I can't remember her name. This is awful, but like she's like looking
Amy.
for him. Amy.
Yeah.
I always forget her name. She's a very forgettable character. But no, I think it's well rounded. Some of the science talk's actually pretty legit, and just like it has like a good mixture of like somewhat dumb humor, but like not really dumb at all. Because like some shows go like way overboard with stupid humor.
Yeah.
But then like the mixture of that with like just how well the characters like kind of bounce off of each other. That and Kayla Cuoco is fucking smoking hot.
Yeah, there is
So-
that.
Yeah,
There is
so
that. If
there's-
nothing else, you get some eye candy.
There's plenty of eye candy while I'm also like giggling pretty hard. So
Yeah.
my number 5, I think it's a solid choice. Might be number 1 in other people's hearts. Is Big Bang Theory.
I feel like the Big Bang Theory has kind of turned into like more of a meme than anything. Like I feel like people love
Yeah.
to shit on the Big Bang Theory more than like any other show at this point. And it's like
Yeah.
I understand it to a point, because like some of the stuff that people get on it about is kind of legit, but at the same time, like I grew up watching that show in like middle school and high school, and like I liked watching it. Like I'm gonna be completely honest, like I enjoyed it for the parts that I saw. Obviously I quit and I didn't finish it, but yeah, no, I can respect your choice.
Damn straight, bro.
Yeah.
Now,
I'm gonna
what
return-
the fuck is
oh.
yours? Oh wait, what's up?
Oh
Kyle?
yeah, Kyle, go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm gonna return fire to you when you made fun of my number 5, and I'm gonna say that
Shit.
Hit me with it.
Oh shit, you started fucking
Big gaslight.
No. I think that Big Bang Theory and The Office land in like that category of high highs and low lows, where like if like there's some comedy that makes me laugh pretty good on both shows, but there's moments where I'm just like, I'm gonna turn this off now because this is stupid.
That is very
Dude,
valid. That is like
and
extremely
that's what
valid.
I mean as far as like where it has some really dumb humor sometimes. But
Yeah.
I think that Big Bang Theory has like a better like good humor to dumb humor ratio than The Office does.
I disagree with that.
You disagree with that?
I
can see
also
that.
disagree.
I
yeah.
can see
Well,
that,
because
okay.
if I'm being real, I like The Office better than I like Big Bang Theory. Even though I think I cringe a lot harder at The Office's like weird moments as opposed to like the Big Bang Theories.
Yeah.
I guess just like the vibe of the show and the characters are just a lot more enjoyable in The Office, in my opinion, than Big Bang Theory. That's just my personal opinion.
I could dig that.
Yeah.
I respect
I'm
it.
about the same too. I feel like, I don't know, the way that the acting is done, I feel like the vibe of it's very different. Like it's almost like with Office, it's like they just throw a bunch of stuff at the wall and they don't really like think about it. So some of it hits and some of it doesn't. Whereas like the vibe that I get from Big Bang Theory is like they like calculated all of their jokes, and just some of them are bad and some of them are really good, which like makes those goods really good, but it makes me go, well, that joke didn't make me very happy.
Yeah, like
so
clearly,
I don't know.
Clearly, like The Office is a lot more like improvised, and like The Big Bang Theory like is written by like a team of writers, and it is very heavily scripted. Like they do it in front of a live audience. It's like putting on a play. You know, that's kind of like the vibe of it. And then The Office, I think, is a lot more laid back.
Plus, with the Big Bang Theory, a lot of like they just land a lot of the same jokes, like the whole knocking on Penny's door. It's just like every other episode. And, Raj can't talk to girls.
That's kind of like how, because that's like a classic sitcom style of show. Like it is like with the laugh tracks and the everything is like very heavily scripted and everything. I think that's just kind of part of the appeal of that kind of show is like, or at least part of like the culture of those kind of shows is like you have the recurring jokes and stuff that you have just over and over and over again that people like get used to, like, oh, Bazinga, and like, you know, it's just you expect it, and then if it's not there, like it feels weird. For better or worse, that's just kind of like I understand why they're in there, because that's just the kind of show it is, you know.
And it really vibes with certain people too, and that's why like, because like obviously Brennan really like that comedy like hits him better. That like it just, that's how different people do different shows, and that's why we do this podcast, because we have different opinions. Yeah, and put your opinions in the comments below.
Oh shit, dude!
We don't want to
tight
hear
segue.
Tight fucking segue.
Speaking of segues, we got to move on. So I'm gonna hit you with my number 5. And speaking of shows that are heavily scripted with laugh tracks, my number 5 is How I Met Your Mother.
Nice.
Which this is the only show in this vein that is on my list. And it was in contention with The Office, but I had to go with How I Met Your Mother. And I know what a lot of you are thinking, but Tyler, How I Met Your Mother does not hold up as well as The Office, and you'd be correct. But I have a lot of just like personal attachment to How I Met Your Mother. Because like How I Met Your Mother was kind of like the first sitcom that like I really, really got into. Like it was just one of those shows that was always on TV, just all the fucking time. So when I was in like middle school and high school, and I just wanted to like, and I didn't have cable, mind you, so like I had very limited options when I wanted to like throw the TV on. That was just like always on, so like I started watching it, and then I discovered like, hey, this show's pretty funny. It's pretty good. I'm just gonna keep watching this like every day. So then like slowly over the course of like a few years, I saw all the episodes out of order about 150,000 times, and I ended up getting my whole family into it. And then I found out that like a few of my friends were into it too, and then we would get together, watch the new episodes sometimes, and it was like it just became like a big thing. It was just like a really big part of my middle school, high school life, you know. So that's why I couldn't justify like keeping it off my list just because of the impact. I will say though, I cannot rank it any higher than number 5 because the ending is so fucking terrible, and like it just. I've never experienced like more of a dumpster fire ending of a show than How I Met Your Mother. I've been told Lost is also very bad.
Lost is absolute dog shit.
Yeah, because that was like I watched the finale like with one of my friends and my parents. We all watched it together, and we were just kind of slowly like the whole time it went on. We were just like, no, stop, no, and then it's just like the longer it went on, the worse it got. And then the first thing my dad says when it ends, he's like, "Dude, that was as bad as Lost." Nice. He's like, "I know your pain, Tyler." I'm like, "Oh my god."
Yeah, my parents like straight up labored through Lost.
Oh yeah, you were telling me that story before.
Straight up disappointment. I have never seen my parents more disappointed in my life. So yeah, but fuck Lost.
Yeah. So yeah, that's why like I cannot put it any higher on my list than 5, because like, good lord, man, like I don't think any single soul on this planet is okay with the ending of this show. And I won't spoil it for anybody who hasn't seen it. But just don't watch it. Like, just watch, like, the first 5 minutes of it, and then just accept that is the ending, and turn it off, and pretend they didn't film anymore. You'll be better for it.
They ran out of budget.
Damn.
Like, I tried rewatching the ending at one point, because it was on, which was a fucking mistake. But I was like, maybe it won't be as bad a second time through, because I'm expecting it. It was worse. It was even worse the second time through. I was an emotional wreck for the whole day. It was bad.
Excuse me.
Yeah, but that's How I Met Your Mother. It's good to a point, and it is very campy though, and it's the rest of my shows on this list are significantly better, but I would still recommend checking it out because it does have some appeal.
Some sex appeal.
I'll have to check it out.
There's a lot of fucking,
A lot of fucking.
or a lot of like alluding to fucking. They don't show any of it.
There's
but,
no
like,
pornographic imagery.
The basis of the show is just like old man Ted Mosby telling his children about all the tail he caught when he was in the early 2000s. Like, it's kind of fucked.
Listen up,
think
kids.
about it.
I caught so much ass back in the day.
Like, if you really think about it, like, why would anybody tell any of these stories to their kids? Like,
You're not gonna tell your kids how much ass you got?
it won't be too long of a story. It won't be fucking seasons long, I'll tell you that.
Like, I got necked once. The end.
Dad, why are you telling us this? We're 5. Stop.
Like, you gotta know what you get into, kids.
Oh my god. We gotta move on. We gotta move on.
This is epic.
Oh man. Alright. Chipper. Did you go first?
Number
I did.
4.
That's
Okay,
me.
well then you're gonna go again. It's number 4
shit.
time. Hit us with your number 4.
My number 4 is Arrested Development.
I love Arrested Development. I forgot about that show.
It's amazing. Just one of my favorite. First off, it's about the Bluth family. Their father who owns the company. He goes. It's like he goes bankrupt or something. So now he goes to jail, or he commits tax fraud and goes to jail.
Yeah.
So now his son, Michael Bluth, has to run the business while his dad's in jail, and is basically just trying to keep the family afloat. But they're all idiots and horrible people. So it just never gets better. They just make it worse. And the reason I like this is because every character, all their flaws are amazing. Like, Job is one of the best characters ever in sitcom.
Hell yeah. He's the best. Like,
He's this goofy ass motherfucker who thinks he's serious about everything he does, but everything he does is the goofiest thing ever, and no one should be that passionate about it.
yeah, like he's like a magician, but like he's super terrible at it, but like he thinks he's the shit.
Yeah,
like,
he thinks he's amazing.
He's played by Will Arnett too, so like
I love that man.
yeah.
Even better.
That's like the best part of that show is just like the cast
Not
is
BoJack
so
Horseman.
amazing.
I know, everybody is like David Cross is Tobias, and he just he makes all these sexual innuendos without even knowing it.
Yeah.
His character.
And he's a what is it called?
Closet gay?
No. It's when like you're uncomfortable getting naked in front of people even during sex.
I forget what that is, but yeah, he always wears
He's
jean
he's always
shorts.
wearing he's always wearing like booty jorts, like even when he showers,
Oh my
like he's
God.
always got like
It's amazing.
it's the best.
And one of my
man.
favorite scenes is like when Job he does a magic trick or something, and he gets shipped to Mexico in someone's car.
Yeah.
And when Michael comes to save him, Michael doesn't want to do what Job wants to do, and Job just calls him a chicken and does the most ridiculous chicken dance in the world. And
Don't
it's
they
so
do that
stupid.
like another time where like the whole family is doing it
Yeah.
and they're all doing like none of them sound like chickens,
Yeah.
but they're all like super fucking committed to it.
Yeah.
And it's like you'll have to look it up because like it's not funny when you explain it, but like
Yeah, it's one
It's
of the best
ridiculous.
scenes in sitcoms. But yeah, it's just a mess, and it's weird, and I love it. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It makes me laugh. I can throw on any episode, and I can just. Usually, if it's on in the background, I ignore what I'm doing and I just watch the show because man, this is great. Every joke just lands pretty much. last season was awful, but that's because when a show gets canceled and they come back, sitcom-wise, it usually doesn't go well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I started watching like the rebooted season, and I got like 2 episodes in, and I didn't commit. Aren't they
Yeah.
still making seasons of it? Am I wrong about that? Like I think
I
they
don't
made
remember.
more after
Yeah,
that.
I think they are making more.
Yeah,
Think
Or
so.
some-
I'll
or
have
at
to
least they made
rewatch it.
more.
yeah, because Netflix like bought it and started making like more stuff. Like that's how the new season came out. But I thought they
Yeah.
made like more than one.
They might have. But I wasn't interested in the newest season. Well, not the newest one, I guess, but the one that came out after it went to Netflix.
Yeah.
So I just didn't follow it anymore. I'll probably go back and rewatch it, see how it is.
Yeah, I'd have to check it out again too. I remember it being like really disappointing, especially since like they don't really wrap things up at the end of like the last like televised season, and then there's like a huge time jump because like there was years that passed between when the show got canceled and when they like rebooted it. So there's just like this massive time skip, and then they're just doing stuff that like has nothing to do with like what was going on before. It's just kind of jarring, and like I was not a fan.
Yeah. Another good thing about it is like the comedic timing is amazing in it. Like they'll mention something somewhere early in the episode, and then you'll forget about it, and then all of a sudden later in the episode, whatever they were like mocking or joking about or talking about, something about that will come up in just an amazing punchline.
Dude, yeah, I love Arrested Development. I gotta go back.
I have
and
never
watch
seen
it at
that
some
show.
point.
I also
recommend
haven't
it.
seen
It's
that show.
yeah,
I need to get
definitely.
to it.
Yeah.
It starts off strong and continues and just gets better, and then it drops down with the new seasons.
Kyle.
Cool. Oh, what? Oh, hey. So,
I haven't heard your
Were you
voice since
sleeping?
fucking Nom.
no, I changed out of my suit. So anyway,
So,
yeah.
Were you just changing? Well, like, you're like, I don't know anything about this show. I'm just gonna
Yeah.
take my fucking clothes off.
Maybe.
That's fair.
Definitely put on like comfier clothes. While I was like, I don't know anything about Arrested Development, and I like, right
Yeah,
as
I
you
can't
said,
blame
I googled it and I saw the cast and I was like, oh damn, that's a tight cast, and then I just got out of my suit. But yeah, no. Okay, so I'm about to admit something pretty big. I don't watch a lot of sitcoms. So, but I watch things that are kind of like sitcoms, and I realized this.
What?
My Little Pony is not a sitcom.
Damn. No,
bro.
the rest of mine are Rick and Morty. No, but the rest of mine are kind of considered like comedy drama TV shows that have like sitcom elements in them. So like, in my heart, I believe in them.
Okay.
So believe in them as well. But this is definitely the weakest of the comedy ones, but I like it a lot. So deal with it. This show is called White Collar. Have you ever
heard of it?
I feel
Yeah.
like I've heard of it, but I
I've
have
never
no
seen
clue what it
anything.
is.
Yeah, I've never seen an episode of the show.
Yeah, it came out in 2009. It's definitely a little bit more on the drama end. It does a really good job, like subtly, like putting like it. The family tries to be like a sitcom-y family, like for moments, because this show like is pretty like semi-serious. So what it's about is this guy Neil Caffrey. He is like a con artist and like forges stuff, and he gets caught, and he gets like a deal made where he works with a detective, and he has like that anklet thing that like everyone has in all the shows when they're like, I'm a con artist, look at me, I'm out of prison now. Wah. And
Is he fucking Waluigi?
yes, but no, he's like this really infamous like con artist that gets caught after years and years and years by like one cop who was working on that case for all those years, and then he gets assigned to that same cop as his partner, like as like a consultant. And like there's a lot of like bickering between the two because one's obviously more like, who cares about the rules? The other one's like, I'm FBI agent. But no, like the acting in it's really, really good. There's like a lot of really funny characters in it that like just show up every once in a while, and when they show up you're just like, hey, it's gonna be a funny episode. But yeah, no, specifically the guy who plays Neil Caffrey, that con artist, is his name is Matt Bomer. He's a really good actor. You may know him in things like that one stripper movie that I can't remember the name of. What's
Magic
it called?
Mike?
Magic Mike, that's it.
Thanks for naming that.
Definitely didn't set that up so that Chipper would go, oh, dude, Magic Mike.
I love Magic Mike. Gambino's in the second one.
Is he
He
really?
is, yeah.
What?
I think he's in the first one too.
I've
Nice.
seen neither, so I wouldn't
I
know.
wouldn't know. I
It's
wouldn't take
unfortunate.
Charles Gambino to be a stripper.
Well,
Nice.
he's not supposed to be, but since he's in the movie, he does strip.
Hell yeah.
I guess I gotta go see Magic Mike now. I
Yeah,
mean, that's
I
my
gotta-
wildest fantasy.
Just for Charles
Magic
Gambino.
Mike XXL. or
Donald Glover
whatever.
with just
XXL.
hanging dong, like I
Donald
gotta get
Glover.
me some of that.
Well, he doesn't hang dong. I
Aw,
don't think there's
man.
any dong.
What's the
hanging.
point of watching a movie about strippers if they're not gonna hang dong?
When you go to,
True.
sometimes there's classy strip clubs where they don't show their dongs or tits or their PCs.
They're what?
Their PCs. I don't want to.
They're trying to see fucking Lando Calrissian's fucking penis, dude.
So am I. Imagine my disappointment.
What does he wear?
Is it where like does he have
he's-
assless chaps at least?
No, he's like
Bummer.
he kind of like he's just like I don't know what he is. He's just all the strippers' friends, and somehow he's wearing like a button-up shirt and pants, and he just like rips off his shirt, and that's it.
Well,
It's
that's
disappointing.
fucking weak.
Yeah, no, tell me.
And I'm
about
sorry
it.
to interrupt you, Kyle, but like this was
all good.
very important to me. I
That
had
is
to
Glad
dig
easy
that
deeper.
this sparked
Yeah.
Magic Mike talk.
This Magic Mike.
Imagine me.
Had a movie about strippers. Here we are.
I'm gonna start
Huge.
googling pictures of Childish Gambino with his shirt off for the rest of this
All you
podcast.
gotta do is
I've
all you gotta look
succeeded.
up is This Is
Childish-
America or whatever that. movie
Yeah,
is
that's
called.
true. That's true.
That's
Watch
true.
the whole
Childish
thing, shirtless.
Gambino, Magic, Mike. Let's look up some of those pictures. Well, he looks dapper in this one. He's wearing
Dapper.
all leather and it's sexy,
Dude, send it in the chat. I can't get to my keyboard right now.
Yeah,
Send it in the chat where no
Send
one
it.
that's listening can see it.
I can post
We'll throw
it
it up.
in the video. I'll put it on screen right this second, right now. Look at that.
boom. Check it out.
Bask
Just
in
let
the
it
glory
put it in floating
of
from left
Donald
to right.
Glover's luscious nipples.
what a sexy man.
God. Wow. Damn.
But yeah, I was so disappointed whenever, I never even saw the movie, but I wanted to because Gambino was in it, and I heard he didn't hang dong.
That's really
Is
disappointing.
the caption really back to the grind? Because that's clever, but also really
Yeah.
fucking dumb.
Grinder.
It's not supposed to be a very clever movie, Tyler. It's about
I'm
stripping.
aware.
Male stripper.
I'm aware. I'm aware. Anyway, we should get back to Kyle's thing. Tell us more about this
White
this show,
collar.
Kyle.
About
Sorry
Matt.
for
So
the.
I've-
Matt Beaumont.
It's all good.
Tour.
All I'm gonna say is that I feel like if anyone that's watching this, all four of you have seen this. Four is generous. If you've seen this before, you're probably like, the fuck is this doing on a sitcom thing? You can shut the fuck up. I couldn't think of anything else. So yeah, White Collar is my number 4. It's very good. Go check it out, especially if you like more like drama-y stuff.
All right, so Brennan, we definitely didn't cut out a large chunk of us fucking around. What's your number? What's your number 4, my friend?
Oh man, my number 4. To my defense, it is ruined by a character change, but my number 4 is 2.5 Men.
Really?
2.5 Men with Charlie Sheen absolutely fucking slaps.
I never got into that show.
See,
Same.
like,
I agree with Brendan. I liked it.
Damn.
just, and it's not even like anyone not named Charlie Sheen in that show is kind of mediocre.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
like John Cryer, like sometimes he throws out a slapper here and there, but anytime Charlie Sheen just throws a wicked comeback at somebody, it always lands because like that's not Charlie Sheen acting. That's just Charlie Sheen being Charlie Sheen. So,
Yeah.
granted, that show is a one-trick pony, and hence why it's not higher on my list. But just the fact that like everything that he does and like how he interacts with the other characters always lands. I mean, obviously sometimes it doesn't, but any show has fucking flops here and there.
It always lands, except when it doesn't.
So when it doesn't, 60% of the time works every time. But when it lands, though, it is some of the funniest television I've ever seen. So that plus me and my old man, my dad, we every time I get home from work, that show usually ends up on. So me and him just laugh our asses off. But now, like I said, to my defense, When Charlie Sheen is ousted and Ashton Kutcher hops on, the show is immediate fucking dumpster fire. So it definitely gets knocked for that, and which is why I cannot have it higher on my list. So my number 4, 2.5 Men.
Fair.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Drop the mic.
I'm honestly surprised that was on anybody's list.
Yep.
Same.
I was not expecting that at all. I mean, I wasn't really expecting Big Bang Theory either, but like I like that show, so it was like not that shocking.
Yep.
But like, yeah, 2.5 Men. I never watched a full episode of it, so I can't really weigh in. I just like, yeah.
It's just all the quick
They were
hitters,
alright.
man. Like Charlie Sheen, he just spits them out.
It's true. Charlie Sheen is like the only good thing about that show.
Oh yeah, I completely agree. The rest of the characters are mediocre. The cleaning lady is sometimes funny.
That's true. Yeah, whatever
But-
her name is, Berta or.
Yeah,
Bertha.
but like John Cryer and the kid, they fucking suck sometimes.
Oh yeah.
But Charlie Sheen straight
Wow.
up makes that show happen, and I absolutely love it.
1.5 of the 2.5 Men that the
Exactly.
show is named after fucking suck, and that is the
Suck
official
dick.
review from Brennan.
But it's still a good show nonetheless.
Well, my number 4 is quite a bit different.
Whoa.
My number 4 is a recent show that I've started watching, thanks to the recommendation of Chipper. Silicon Valley. Silicon Valley
shit.
is my number 4, and that show fucking rocks. And it's an HBO show, and it is the most like plot-heavy, plot-based, story-driven comedy I've ever seen in my life. And I think that's like in a good way. Like I think that's what sets it apart from like a lot of other like sitcoms and comedies and stuff. Like it's about I'll break down the plot, I guess, before I get too deep into it. So it's about like this guy. They all live in Silicon Valley, obviously, because that's what the show's named after. So they're all like these techie guys, and this dude makes this algorithm that it's like a compression algorithm that basically makes you be able to download things like unrealistically fast. And like the head of it's kind of like Google, I guess. It's called Hooli. It's like fake Google. His name's Gavin Belson, and he's like the biggest shit in Silicon Valley, and he finds out about this and he wants to buy it from him for like a ludicrous amount of money. But then there's this other guy who also wants to buy the algorithm. But instead of just buying it from him for a ludicrous amount of money, he just wants to kind of like back him so that the dude can make it into like what he wants to make it into. So he turns down Gavin Belson for the shit ton of money to start his own business with it and like run it so that it would hopefully become like the next big $1 billion whatever. And then it's him and all of his like friends that he like works with and everything. And what a wild and emotional, crazy ride that show is. Like the amount of twists and turns per episode is like just insane. Like it, and that's like the draw of the show. Like not only is it like insanely funny, like it has a great cast. There's amazing people in it. The jokes are all just super funny, but like the plot just like grabs you, and like once you get a few episodes in, like you just don't want to stop watching because you're like, how the hell, like every episode ends with like a cliffhanger or like something crazy, and you're like, how the hell are they gonna get out of this one? Like there's no way that they can. And then like the next episode, like stuff happens, and it's just it is a wild ride. And that's so that's pretty much it. I don't want to like spoil any of like the plot because I want everyone to experience it for themselves. But like, it's so good. There's so many like, there's just so many good moments in it, and like
Way too many good moments.
yeah. And I'm not just gonna sit here and like quote shit, but like just trust me, it's really funny. It's like there's a lot of like nerd humor, but not in the way like Big Bang Theory where it's like, oh, we're nerds and that's funny. It's kind of like they just talk about like very nerdy things, and a lot of it kind of goes over my head, but they do a good job of like making it digestible for casual people like me who aren't coders and don't understand what the shit is. It's still understandable and it's still funny, and that just kind of speaks to the quality of the writing in the show, that it's about all this shit that like only super smart, super like nerdy techie people will understand, but like you still get the jokes and you still get like a vibe of what they're talking about. Yeah, it's just a really fucking good show.
Yeah, they kind of bro down some of the like the tech talk for you, because they're all like friends, and they're like they're not like the E=MC² nerds. They're like the
Right.
yo fucker, this is broken kind of nerd and that kind of stuff. So they kind of do a good job of toning the tech talk down so that anybody can kind of pick up on the general idea of what's going on. So it's nice.
Right.
You're not lost the whole time. You're like, oh, I don't know what the fuck that is. They're like, well, we're gonna do this so that we can get this done, so that we can do this, and you're like, oh, okay, got it.
And all the characters have like very distinct personalities too, which is really awesome. Like Richard is the main character, and he's just like this, basically what you would expect. Like he always has like nervous breakdowns. He's terrible at talking in front of people. He's just very like spastic and kind of like uncomfortable all the time, and he has to like figure out how to like run this company that he wants to make. And then like Dinesh and Guilfoyle are like these two other coders, and their entire like beef on the show, like they just shit on each other constantly, and it's hilarious. Like Guilfoyle is like this, he's like a Satanist, and he's like super just like unemotional all the time, and it's just constantly just ripping into Dinesh over like any little thing ever. Like there's this episode where he gets like a gold chain because he just thinks it's cool, and the whole episode is just him like fucking tearing into him over like wearing this gold chain, and there's like so many good one-liners, and like it's so funny.
It's great.
And Jared
Definitely
is the best
give it a
character
watch.
though. Jared is the absolute
absolutely.
best character. If you've watched The Office, he plays that one guy that I can't remember his name.
Gabe.
Yeah,
Gabe.
the guy that plays Gabe. Yeah, and he basically plays like the same kind of character. Like he's just very like doesn't want to like cause any kind of confrontation or anything. But then like he'll slowly like get to like his breaking point, and then he'll just like fucking explode, and it's like the funniest shit ever. All right, we gotta move on though. So Chipper, what's your number 3?
All right, funny you would mention Silicon Valley, because that is my number 3. So we're not gonna talk about that again.
All right.
because literally of all the same reasons I love it.
Fair. All right, well, we'll move right along then, so we won't waste any more time. Kyle, what is your number 3?
I will say that I'm really glad you guys talked about Silicon Valley, because it's one of those shows that like I've seen show up a bunch of times just like on my recommended, and I'm just like, I don't know enough about it. But now that I know what it's about, I'm like, oh damn, maybe I will watch it, because I feel like Thomas Middleditch is like a really underrated like actor in general. He's really funny whenever I see him like on like comedy skits, whether it be SNL or anything. You know, he's a cool dude.
Yeah, he's good in it. He's a great actor.
Hell yeah. You know who else is a great actor? Zachary Levi. He stars in my number 3, Chuck.
Dude, Chuck's great.
I love Chuck.
What is that?
So Chuck is this show about this nerdy dude. He's like kind of in like the what's Best Buy's version of it called? They're Geek Squad.
Geek Squad?
The Nerd
Yeah.
Herd, that's what they call it in the...
Yeah, they call it the Nerd Herd in the show, but it's like Geek Squad, and like he's like a super nerdy dude that like goes around and fixes computers. And one day his friend, who ironically is Matt Bomer from White Collar, but anyways, his friend from like college or whatever, his roommate, he sends him this thing in an email, which is like the secrets to the government. And like right before he dies, and then Chuck's like, oh, that's weird, I got an email from my friend from college, what the hell? And he turns it on, and it like puts all of the government's secrets into his brain, and like he becomes like the government supercomputer in his head. So like now like a bunch of like FBI agents and whatnot have to like protect him, and like he helps them like solve government crimes and stuff. And over time he like learns new things about the government, like he learns how to like do kung fu and shit, so then he like can fight like as time goes on. It's really, really good. The comedy in it is just like so awesome. It's kind of seems to be similar to like Silicon Valley, where it's like nerdy but not too nerdy. Like they dumb it down a little bit, so you're not just like, what are they talking about? But But yeah, no, it's just so much fun. I love it. It is my number 3 though, because the ending is terrible. I hate the ending.
Yeah, I can attest to that. It's pretty bad.
It is like the most disappointing, and like it's like the coward's way out for an ending, pretty much. It's so stupid.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's super funny. I like it a lot. Zachary Levi, I feel, is semi underrated in general. He's getting a lot more, like he was just in Shazam. He is Shazam. If you don't know who Zachary Levi is, but yeah, he's super good in that show. I can't remember the name of the agent. Casey? Is it Casey? Yeah, like his last name's Casey or whatever.
I think you're right. It's been a long time.
He's really funny. I like him a lot. He like starts out to be like the really brute dude on the team, and like over time he becomes, you see like a different side of him as it goes, and it's so good. I love it so much. Watch it. That's my number 3. Bam.
That is a really solid show. I kind of forgot all about that, but yeah, I watched that with my parents back in the day when it was on. It's a good time.
I'll
Yeah.
have to check it out. I never heard anything about it.
It was good enough that I watched an episode from season 3 of it, and because it just came on one night, and I watched it with my family, and we were like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. So we bought seasons 1 and 2 and watched them within the span of like 2 weeks to like catch up, and then we watched season 3 and on from there.
Nice.
It's super good. I love
Nice.
that show. But yeah,
Yeah. I would also recommend that show. That is a very good show.
heck yeah.
I don't remember much about it though, so I can't really add anything to that. Unfortunately, I just remember that I really liked it.
All of these shows for me are like shows I watched a while back. So like coming up with this list, it was like, oh yeah, that, and like I'd like remember certain moments of it, but some of them I'm like, what the fuck was that show about? I remember loving it though.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Chuck, woo.
Yeah,
Who's next?
Chuck.
Brennan's
Cool.
next. Brennan, what's your number 3?
My
Yeah,
number
3.
3. Well, Tyler mentioned this show before, as far as, and it kind of goes with like kind of a mockumentary vibe, but I'm gonna go with Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Oh yeah.
Ooh.
That show, like Andy Samberg and I think Captain Holt, his name's like Andre Braugher or whatever in real life.
He's the funniest dude.
Their complete difference in personality, as far as Andy Samberg or Andy Peralta or whatever, like his absolute charisma and like blind, like idiot savant ability to get things done, it just completely clashes with Holt's like calculated, somewhat cold, and precise
Sophisticated.
demeanor. Like they clash, and then like every single character in the show is absolutely hilarious. Like Rosa,
It's
she's
true.
bad as fuck. Fucking like Terry Crews, fucking
What a babe.
Boyle.
fucking Jeff Boyle. All right. There's one scene that me and Christian like quote all the time. It's like Boyle gets like really disappointed because Amy doesn't want to be a part of this like food truck or whatever he wants to be a part of, because like they find out it's like a murder truck.
Oh shit.
And she like walks up on him, and he's like, bye bye party in the USA. And she's like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm just deleting all of like the uplifting music I have on my iTunes. And he's like, bye bye swish swish bish. I just fucking die. I'm like, that song's uplifting to you? Like, you live a sad fucking life.
He's such a good character. Like he's
yeah.
so interestingly written. I feel like that show's just like really well thought out.
Oh, it's extremely well written and thought out, I think. I mean, even like the stupid stuff, like it just all gels and lands, and I don't think there's no like super cringeworthy moments. I mean, obviously every show's a little, but I mean, it's just, to me, that show, every time I watch that show, I'm laughing my ass off.
Yeah.
So my number 3, definitely Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Solid.
Super solid.
Nine-Nine?
Super solid.
I've only seen the episodes that you have shown me, but I liked all of them.
Yep.
I just have never gone back and like watched it myself.
The entire show fucking slaps.
That's what I've been
It
told.
really does.
Yeah, it really,
By like
really
fucking
does.
everybody under the sun, everyone always just like swears by that show.
And it's the only, like, one of the only shows I've ever seen that has been canceled picked up immediately, like the next day.
Yeah.
And the season after its cancellation still fucking slaps.
Yeah, they didn't skip a beat on that one at all.
Yeah, I mean, it's literally the same show. It's not like any sort of like drastic change like other shows that have been offed and then re-oned.
Right.
Mm-hmm. I think
Andy
they
Samberg's
hired,
just a
like-
wizard.
Oh, he is.
Yeah, I think they literally just hired the cast and writing crew as soon as they dropped them. They're like, yeah, well, NBC or whatever, whoever picked it up was like, yeah, you all have your jobs still.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
keep it up. We like that show.
What's going on in the background? Is someone's
Someone's
recording?
ass in the background. What's happening?
Oh,
Someone's
that would
fucking-
be my lovely girlfriend, Jess.
I figured. Just
I didn't know you guys could hear
she
that.
really likes Brooklyn Nine-Nine, I guess.
Dude.
Yeah, she hears
Very
us talking
invested.
about
She
it.
has good taste.
All right. I guess it's my turn again. My number. What are we on?
3.
3.
Tyler.
Number 3 is Letterkenny.
Damn it.
I love Letterkenny.
That show's fantastic.
It is. It's just so good. Like, it's I don't even really know how to describe what it's about because it's such a like a vague. It's just kind of one of those shows where like you just kind of people do things. Like it's a sitcom in the truest sense. Like it is just situations
Canada.
that are funny, and it's in Canada. It's a Canadian show. Like the main characters are just like these hicks that like work on like a farm. But then like they just like what do they do even? Like
Get in fights.
yeah, like they just
Live
like they
life.
drink and get in fights and like do like crazy stuff. I don't know, like it is a very hard show to describe. It's
Ice
one of
fishing.
those ice fishing. Like it's just one of those shows that you have to just watch to understand the vibe. But like it is just completely like ridiculous and over the top like the whole time. And it's just like it's one of those shows where like there's not really a lot of like slow time, you know. It's kind of just like one joke after the other after the other after the other. Like they try to like make you like stay laughing like the whole episode for the most part. Like it's like aggressive like how much they hit you with jokes. Sometimes it doesn't work because they try doing it like too much, but for the most part like it's just a really good time. And one of the things I appreciate about the most is that they make just such a large like cast of different characters. You basically get to meet like every group in the town. So like there's the Hicks, there's the hockey players, there's the priest, there's
The Skids.
Yeah, there's like all these different groups of people, and you get to like they're all like pretty well developed as far as like these kind of shows go. I mean, like you get a vibe, like you feel like you actually like you know what the town is like you know the vibe, like everyone knows each other, and like they do a really good job of giving everyone like screen time. So it's just kind of like it ends up feeling like you're just kind of like visiting the town for a day to just see what's up. Like you don't know which characters are going to be on or what they're going to do, and it's just kind of it's just a really like interesting vibe, and it's just like super super fucking funny. And I wish I could explain it better than that, but it's hard to explain.
It's a damn good show.
It is a damn good show. A lot of quotable moments.
A lot of one-liners.
Yeah, a lot of one-liners. Some downsides of it though, which is why I can't rank it any higher. They do bits where they kind of like they'll throw the same joke at you like over and over and over again throughout the course of the episode. Like they'll have whole episodes based on like one joke. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it does not.
Fart book.
Fart Book is the worst episode. It's like the second episode too. Skip that one. But like
Yeah, there's a. For me, that's one of the hardest shows to just like. I love it a lot. It's one of the ones I can't like binge. I can only watch like 2 or 3 episodes at once because I'm like, you know what? I don't know if I want to hear the same joke every episode. They don't tell the same joke every episode, but each episode has like the same 2 or 3 jokes, and they do a good job of like making like the jokes. It's hard to explain because it's like it's not the same exact joke, but it's very similar and it's in the same vein, so it's kind of hard for me to just like watch so many episodes at once. But
right. I
the
understand
jokes that land are amazing. Like,
Yeah.
they're boosh, or like I can hear the same joke the first like 4 times and it's just as good. But then like once it gets later on the episode, I'm like, you know what? You guys have done this.
Right.
The only one I'm like, there's a lot of the episodes where I'm cool with the same type of joke. Like the goose episode is amazing.
The goose episode is like the one where like it is just one joke over and over again, but it's so fucking funny that like I don't even care. Like that is one of my favorite episodes of all time. Is the Canada Gooses episode. It's so good.
It's because they're doing that joke over and over just because of the situation that's happening, and it works perfectly, and it's amazing.
Right. Also, like, the cold opens for that show might be the best part of that show. Like, if the show was only the cold opens and it wasn't even, like, full episodes, I would still have it on my list. Like, that's how good the cold opens are. Like, the bits are just so funny. I don't even know how they come up with some of the shit.
I don't know.
It's like, it's usually
amazing.
just them, like, having, like, conversations about stuff, but it's just, like, crazy shit. Like, it has to be improvised. Like, they just talk about, like, the dumbest, weirdest stuff, and it's so funny. You have, like, if you haven't watched it, like, highly recommend. It is a good time.
So
Yeah. And this has nothing to do with anything either, but, like, also there's a ton of very attractive women in it. So if nothing else, there's that. Yeah,
Nice.
So that's mine. We're moving on to number 2s.
Damn it.
It's time.
Poo poo poo.
Good joke.
Thanks.
Comedy gold.
I'm here all night.
We've peaked in the first episode. This is great.
I know. I guess it's my turn. My number 2, which was my number 1 and 2, they're basically on the same level of how much I like them. It's just one I have more attachment to. My number 2 is Community.
I thought that was going to be your number 1.
I have more attachment to my to my number 1. Just because of family, but Community I watched all of myself.
Gotcha.
But just every character on there is amazing. The situations they get into, it's just like it's sparked by things that should not happen, which is why I love it. And pretty much every episode is like a spoof of like some kind of pop culture thing, like movies and documentaries, and sometimes events that have happened. And though they do a really good job of making it their own. Like they kind of do it like they don't do it like frame for frame, obviously, but they hit all the main points of whatever they're spoofing.
Right.
But they add their own twist into each episode to make it their own because it's Dan Harmon.
Right.
So
What a boy.
That's the thing I love the most about that show is the fact that they just like they're able to parody all of these other things, and they do it in like such a unique way where like it doesn't feel like out of place because it's just like that's the way the show is. Like they have like an episode that's like a Civil War documentary, like PBS style.
Ken Burns.
Yeah, it's a Ken Burns documentary, but like it's about like this like pillow fight that they're having like at the school because like they're building like pillow forts and blanket forts. And it's just like so well done, and there's like so many episodes that like parody different things. Like the Law and Order one is like super good, and like they put a lot of like time and effort into like getting the vibes of all the things they're parodying like perfect, and it's so good.
Yeah. And like it has a nice like childish heart and like good and great charm to it. Like every episode it seems pretty happy to me and just like jokey and just a lot of fun to watch because nothing's really depressing. It's just super happy for most of the part. There's some episodes they gotta throw in there that are kind of sad, but other than that, it's super great to watch. And first off, I'd like to say Troy and Abed in the morning is one of the best segments in the world for sitcoms.
Oh yeah, Troy and Abed are just in general the best part of that show. Like they are incredible.
Yeah. Oh, I guess I should explain the show since I didn't do that. So Community is a show about this group of students going to a community college. They all have one class in common. It's Spanish, so they start a study group. And basically it sparks all these weird events that they go through all these episodes that we're talking about.
It's it is a really good show. Like Chipper was saying, I mean, like I think he hit the nail on the head when he was saying like the charm and like the positive vibes you get from watching that show. Like you can't be like sad and watch Community because like it'll just make you like so fucking happy by like the end of every episode.
Yeah.
And like all the characters are just like, I wouldn't say all the characters are likable. I would say like they actually make the characters like very unlikable, but like the way they deal with each other, it just like gives you a lot of positive vibes. And yeah, it just has a lot of charm that like not many other sitcoms and shows have.
Yeah. And I like it because most of the cast they all love each other, and you can see that chemistry in their acting and the way the show is written. The only person that doesn't have chemistry with anybody is Pierce, aka Chevy Chase, and that's because he's a dickbag.
They kick him off the show.
It's Chevy Chase. I mean, come on.
Yeah. But he is amazing in his own way. In the show, at least.
Yeah.
Just every joke he throws out there pretty much lands, in my opinion.
Right.
But he's not even the best part about it. He makes me laugh a lot, but just Troy and Abed is just everything they do is hilarious.
Yeah, they're like the best part of that show, hands down.
Yeah, and like is it technically the end credits that like they do all of those funny little bits at?
Yeah. So like you know how like the show will like go to commercial when it ends, and there's like a 2-minute bit they have like at the end when the credits are going by. Yeah, like they just have these bits with like Troy and Abed doing stupid shit at the end of like every episode, and it's great. And then Troy and Abed in the morning is like the best one. Like they pretend like they sit up in the study room and they sit in front of like the camera and they pretend like they're doing like a Today Show like type thing, and they just have like they have like people standing back like outside the room by the windows with like signs and stuff, and then they just bring like a random person in to like talk to them, and they're like, what the fuck are you doing? There's not even a camera here. Like why are we here? It's so funny.
It's amazing. Literally all those bits just make me laugh, and like you can't even explain all of them. You have to watch it because they all have their own little charm to them.
Yeah.
You know what Community means? Talking about Community is that Childish Gambino's being talked about. So toss his nipples back up on the screen.
Ooh, there we go. There's another spicy hot pick. Donald Glover's nips.
But put young Donald Glover's face over top of like the older Donald Glover's face. Yeah, there it is.
Wow. Thanks for giving me the extra work.
No problem.
You're welcome.
Shit. All right. Well, Kyle, what's your number 2?
My number 2 is a little TV show called Monk. Have you ever heard of
Oh my
Monk?
god!
I
haven't
forgot
seen that
about
show
Monk.
in
I love
actually
it.
hate Monk, but continue.
Hate Monk.
Oh no!
I'm not a fan. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not a fan.
Okay, so Monk, right? The show's pretty great. Tyler's a liar. Monk. So it's a show. The show basically the premise is that this guy named Adrian Monk. He's like married and he's living a nice little life. He's a detective. Oh man, he's great. And then his wife is brutally murdered, and stuff goes wrong. He loses his like detective badge and everything. He develops obsessive compulsive disorder, which includes terror of germs and contamination. He's like just afraid of everything and like has everything like super nice. He's like that guy that has like the covering over the couches that's like really hard to sit on. It's that kind of guy. And then he gets hired by the department to be like a consultant, and he comes in and it's just like madness ensues because he's like really afraid of germs and stuff, and it's really funny. I think the show, like almost all of its charm is from Tony Shalhoub, the guy who plays Adrian Monk. I don't think there's another TV show where someone has put in as much time into the character as he did with that character. There's just so much like attention to detail with like him being afraid of diseases and like his obsessive compulsive disorder. The little ticks he does is like just so detailed all the time. Like, he doesn't slack. It's really impressive.
Well, Heath Ledger really fell into his role.
Oh my
A little
God.
too deep.
As
Wow.
Joker.
Like, way too deep.
I think he dedicated more time than anybody.
Do you think
I
if
mean-
Heath Ledger would have been Monk, he would have done a better job and also ended up dying from that role as well?
That's a fucking
Probably.
loaded question.
Wow. And on the next episode of a podcast, we talk about strictly Heath Ledger. Our top 5 Heath
Top
Ledgers.
5 hypothetical Heath Ledger acting situations.
Top 5 alternate history hubs.
Number 1, Brokeback Mountain.
Wow.
No, it's just our
went right
it's our
for it,
top
huh?
5 like alternate roles for Heath Ledger where he dies. Like,
That's so fucked.
Roles
man.
that lead to his demise.
Oh my god.
Heath, come back to us, please.
Please,
Come
I
back,
need
buddy.
a Joker movie.
Bring Heath back. Bring Heath back.
if we
Although,
all clap, he'll come back.
has anybody seen the new Joker yet?
Yeah, Kyle and I saw it
Yes.
over the weekend.
How was it?
It's 10 out of 10, bud. It's
I
10
gotta
out of
see
10.
it.
It's real fucking good.
I gotta see
Yeah,
this.
It's real good.
Okay.
It's
It
a
is-
real dick licker.
It's super fucked.
It is my
but it's
movie of the
supposed to
year.
be. So,
Okay.
like, here's what I'll say. Here's my quick review of the Joker. DC normally makes movies and they're shit. This time they made a film and it was good.
They made a film. Okay, I need to go see this. Like,
Yeah.
ASAP. 'Cause me and my dad were thinking about going to see it.
Yeah, definitely see it. I recommend it.
It is incredible. Like, one of the best movies I've seen in a long time.
Okay.
Yeah, it was very good.
But yeah.
All right. Well,
So Monk is my number 2.
Yeah, we're talking about
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
so that's a
I,
badass pick, dude.
My 1 and 2 are very close. Monk is very good. It's really well done too. Like, I feel like there's just a lot of attention to detail in general with that show. The ending, like towards the end, it gets like really, really like heavy. Like, you're like, oh my god, what the fuck's gonna happen next? And yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
Tune in next week, folks.
Why don't you like it, Tyler?
Why don't I like it?
Yeah, what's up with it?
I don't know.
What's your beef with Monk?
I just I saw it when I was younger and I was just like, I don't like it.
That's fair. It's
That's
definitely not a
it's like
it's
the
not a
episodes are
common show.
long and it's like it's a crime show, which is not my favorite genre. And like I get he does a good job with the character, but I find him annoying. And I just like I'm not huge on crime shows, even when they're comedies, with the exception of Psych, which is great. I don't know. It's just not my vibe. Like I understand why people like it. It's just not for me.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
Like I'm not gonna say it's a bad show. It's just not for me.
I definitely think they did a good job, like, making Adrian Monk annoying but still lovable. Like, if you like consistently watching it, because there's moments where even like the viewer is like, Jesus, like, come on, man, like, it's just a napkin. Just pick up the damn napkin, like.
Right.
But yeah,
I mean, I also watched it when I was like a kid, though, so maybe I'd like it more now that I have taste. Who knows?
that's true.
Will I take the time to do that? It's unlikely, but you know the possibility's there.
It's a
I
risky
might try
take.
it. We got to move on though. So, Brennan, what is your number 2?
Two.
Yeah.
Man, my number 2. It was mentioned previously, but my number 2 is Letterkenny.
Hell yeah.
I mean that. Now, of course, it does have its knocks. Fart Book and Heart Right J, absolutely. Suck.
Those are the worst. You literally hit the nail on the
absolutely
head. Those are the
suck.
worst 2 episodes ever made.
Now, every other episode is completely bearable, and that's only like a couple more. But then every other episode, other than those 2, are insanely funny. Like, now, granted, the knocks against it, it does make the same joke, but from different angles.
Yeah.
Throughout each episode, which to some can get old fast. Like, to me, like, sometimes like the Canada Gooses, I think is absolutely hilarious, but I can see how people can be annoyed by that.
Right.
And the show does that constantly over literally every single episode. But then just like we're 2 characters who just spouting one-liners back and forth.
That is where the show excels.
Yeah, that is where the
Yeah.
show takes off and hits new heights to where I am literally just slapping my fucking knees and laughing my ass.
Yeah.
Like, oh man, I can go on for days and days about Letterkenny, but every character, well, most of the characters are really good.
Yeah.
You know, there are some, Hard Right Jay, that absolutely suck.
That was the worst
You know,
fucking character in episode ever.
It's just, and like Tyler said before, there's just absolute eye candy. Like Bonnie McMurray, Tanis.
Bonnie McMurray.
Oh my god. Both of those chicks, like, man, if I get
We might need to shut this one down. I don't know where this is gonna go.
I don't know if we're keeping this.
Bring out the censors.
But yeah, Letterkenny, that show absolutely slaps. And it's my number 2 pick.
My number 2 is Community. Also,
Oh.
I think we really talked about pretty much everything with Chippers, so I won't dwell on it too much. But yeah, Community is fucking awesome and has a lot of charm. Has really great characters. Has really good, a good way of parodying things, and it is very funny and very enjoyable. Go watch it, and we're moving on because we've already talked about it. But it fucking rocks. It's just
Community's also a show I watch yearly. I make sure I watch it because it's that good.
I haven't finished it yet because I just started watching it this year with my mom. That's one of the few ways that we bond together is by watching sitcoms whenever I go and visit. So this is the one we started watching. I have 2 seasons left. There's 6 seasons, right?
Yeah, 6 seasons in a movie.
Yeah. I just started season 5. I just finished up the Ass Crack Bandit. Fantastic episode.
Oh my god.
Actually, no, I lied. I got to the part where Troy leaves, and now I'm concerned. But I did watch the Ass Crack Bandit the last session that I was watching episodes.
It's still good after most of the cast. Well, I guess not most, but when some of the cast leaves, but it's just not as good.
Right.
The writing's still there. It's just the character chemistry is not as there.
Right, because that's like I'm super concerned now because Troy and Abed are the best part of the show, and now that Troy is gone, I'm like, how will Abed still be amazing, or will he like fall off a little bit?
Well, that's like kind of one of it's not really a plot point, but it's one of the reoccurring things in the seasons where it's like Abed dealing with Troy not being there,
Right.
and they constantly have to deal with it, and it spirals into certain episodes and like situations. It's they do a good job of addressing it.
Okay. Yeah, I'm very excited to finish it, but I know the last seasons are the weakest ones.
Yeah.
But even still, even like so far, like season 5 has been kind of weird, but it's still been really funny and like really enjoyable so far. So yeah, solid show. We got to move on though. So we are on to number 1s. Here we go. This is the moment we've all been waiting for. And Chipper, you're going to start us off. The first number 1 in history on the Tippity Top Podcast. What is your number 1 sitcom?
Well, have you guys ever heard of a little show called Sweet Life on Deck?
Shut the fuck up. I will not even acknowledge that.
Well, good, because that's not my number 1.
I know.
That was amazing.
My number 1 is It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Cool.
This one, the reason I put this one above Community is just because It's Always Sunny is something my brothers and I always watch whenever we're all home together. It's one of the sitcoms that we all enjoy and can just laugh all together at it. And it's also a show I can just throw on any episode and I will laugh my ass off because they're all horrible. Every character is a horrible monster of a person. And so first off, the show is about these group of friends who own a bar. And that's pretty much the premise. And they just get into horrible situations and they address like a bunch of issues, but they do it in the worst way possible because they're assholes. And it's great. But they like to push limits on that show of like, they address sexual assault, racial issues, politics, just pretty much anything that is involved in American society. And it's great. One of my favorite parts about it is there'll be like certain characters that they seem like they're going to be one-off characters. And they all these one-off characters start off like nice, contributing people to society, and then they meet the gang, as they call them, and they turn into a horrible person, and their life spirals, and like people get divorced, lose their
Oh my
kids.
god. What the hell?
Nice.
Wow.
And the best part is the gang does not give a flying shit. They literally will forget everything they've done to everybody and just be like, why the fuck is that guy acting like an asshole?
Wow.
Like, yeah, he was so rude to us. Like, I can't believe he did that.
Wow.
They cause every problem, and they never see it as their fault, and it's amazing.
Wow.
There's some real zingers that they do, and it gets pretty graphic as well. Oh my god, I watch that show if I'm like, I don't know what to watch right now, I'll just throw on an episode of Always Sunny, and then it just turns into like a full season of Always Sunny. And that comes, I think that the newest season just came out yesterday, so I need to watch that.
I've only seen like I've seen a couple episodes before that my buddy Zach showed me, but or our buddy Zach showed me, I should say. But yeah, as I never sat down and watched like a bunch of it, so I only have like very tiny experiences with it. But from what I watched, it seemed pretty crazy.
Every episode is just insane. You're always like, why are these people just garbage? Why do they have to do this? Like, if you met these people in real life, you'd be like, those guys are fucking getting arrested, or avoid them. Everything, just make sure they're not near you.
That show is like one of those shows that like on Facebook I see like clips of it like being shared, and I watch them and I'm like, holy shit, why haven't I watched this show? But then I don't hear anyone talk about it. But now I've heard people talk about it, specifically Chipper. So now I might watch it.
It's really good. There are some. The thing is, there's very few episodes that suck, but when they suck, they're bad. Like, they're hard to watch. Because it seems like it was like the bad ones. It just seems like they didn't want to do it, but they also didn't have any other ideas to do right there. They're just like, well, we need to push this show out for next week, or we need to record something, so let's do this idea because it's something.
Wow.
And they try to make it their best, and they'll have, even in those bad episodes, they'll have really good jokes or just good one-liners, but for the most part, those episodes are just bad.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like, I'm so torn to watch that show because I have heard like some like iffy things about it, but it also has Danny DeVito, and like, how can you go wrong?
And Charlie Day.
Yeah,
that is true. Oh my
those
God.
two are literally the best part about the show.
Yeah. Damn.
Danny DeVito
I guess
for Wolverine.
might have to try it. Yeah, Danny DeVito for everything.
Yeah, Danny DeVito for literally everything.
The next Joker movie,
Seriously.
Danny DeVito.
See, I'm hoping Disney does a live action Hercules remake.
Dude, so we can see him with
So
like deer legs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
hell
see him
yeah.
as like a satyr, whatever he is.
The movie will be shit, but at least we'll get Danny
At least
DeVito
Danny
as Satyr.
DeVito being his character.
Yeah.
Really poorly CG'd
Reprise
freaking
role.
goat legs.
No, not CG. Just he's in what are those
It's
practical?
all practical
effects.
effects.
So what does he do? Just cut a goat and like he just steps into it? Like, is
No,
that...
Yes.
That would be the best realistic
Wouldn't
thing.
go
But no, he
morbid
just
route.
like gets like a trash bag and just puts on like, I don't know, plastic cups for his hooves. He does it in his own way. That's what he should do.
Do you know what a satyr looks like? He's gonna hop
he
into a
like-
trash bag cup.
Is this
Done.
going straight to DVD?
Yeah,
Let's go straight to VHS.
Oh, shit.
he shows up to set and he's like,
Throwback.
they're like, we got your costume, Danny. He's like, nah, I brought my own. And he just jumps in a trash bag.
See, I like to think that he would just go completely naked and paint his legs brown.
He embraces it. He's like a crazy method acting for it too. Like, he just
Yeah,
really
he like
goes off
lives
the
in the
deep end.
woods for like fucking 2 years, pretending that he's a goat man. It's like eating
just shows-
bushes and stuff.
Yeah.
Danny
I was gonna say he shows up beating a metal can, just like, what up? It's time.
He forgets how to speak. He just like talks like meh.
Make it so, Disney.
Make it so.
Yeah.
Disney, do it. If you can get rid of all the music in Mulan, you can make that.
Take Hercules out of the Hercules live action. Just make it like a documentary about Danny DeVito learning to be a goat
Ken Burns.
It's just
and living in the woods.
it's like really long shots of him just like in the distance eating grass.
Yeah, there's just like a
here we
voiceover like
see-
over top of it.
Morgan Freeman.
Yes. That's the movie I
learns
need.
that the sap from this tree is especially nutritious.
He will return here monthly to get his fill.
Oh my god, dude. That's the movie Hollywood needs.
Oh my god, March of the Danny DeVitos.
Damn.
That's the next podcast after the Heath Ledger alternate roles.
What?
It's talking about Danny DeVito documentaries.
Wow, we have gone off on a
boy.
wild tangent. Who's next? I don't even know who
Kyle.
we're talking about. Kyle, you're
me.
next. Yeah.
So this show, my number one, is the best show. It was mentioned briefly by Tyler, and it's called Psych.
Mm.
It
I'm
is
okay with this.
like Psych is such like it's like the perfect storm for a TV show. Like it obviously everyone's just having a blast when they're doing it. James Roday and Julie Hill are like the two main characters, and they're just like the cohesion is incredible. So I guess the show, it's about this kid named frickin' Sean Spencer. It's James Roday, and he is like, I don't even like remember how it began because it's been so long since I watched it, but he becomes like he gets caught in the middle of like committing a crime, I think it was, and he is like, oh, but I'm a psychic, and he's just like really perceptive, like he just like notices things really well and remembers things really well, and like he fakes being a psychic to like the police department, and then they hire him as a psychic detective, and he just has to keep faking it, or else he just kind of keeps building up this web of lies of him being a fake psychic, and he just kind of keeps doing it and just gets really like everyone loves him except for some people, and he's just like basking in it. And then Julie Hill, Gus, his partner, is just like, bitch, no, I hate this, please stop, I want a life. And then he just keeps getting pulled into it, and just like it's one of those shows that like I can't think of an episode that I didn't like. The ending was really good. The cast is really great. Timothy O'Munson is like really underrated. He plays Carlton Lassiter. He's so funny. Mm-hmm. They made a movie after it ended. It's like the movie, it's a musical and it's dope. They're making a second movie. It's called Psych 2 Lassie Come Home, and I'm so excited. It's just like, I don't know. There's so many good things about that show that I could just go on and on forever, but I'm going to leave it up to y'all to watch it yourselves.
I need to finish that show.
It's so good.
And it's been a minute since I've seen it too. Like that was one of the shows that like my family and I like watched together when like way back in the day when I was like living with them. And we would just like watch it for dinner every night. But like the problem is that like I loved the show and I wanted to keep watching it. But like when we got like, I still have a couple seasons left I haven't watched because like the whole rest of my family decided, they're like, yeah, no, we're done with it. We're moving on. And I was just like, what? Like, we haven't finished it. They're like, nah, every episode's the same now. You know, if the cops haven't figured out that he's not a psychic by this point, they're really stupid and they should lose their jobs. We're moving on. I'm like, what the fuck? You need to finish the show. And then I was not motivated enough to watch it on my own time because I have, like, anime and Weeby Virgin shit to watch. I can't be watching
Same.
sitcoms all the time.
Shame.
So I never finished it, but I need to. That's why I never finished it. All right. Well, Brennan,
But yeah,
I don't know.
you're
It's
up.
fine.
What is your number one? I have a feeling I know what it is.
Damn.
I have a feeling it's the same as mine.
Tyler definitely knows what it is.
I absolutely know what it is.
No, I think
Now.
I know what it is.
It comes with a huge grain of salt. The first season is absolute fucking trash.
It is.
I am not gonna lie to you.
I skipped it. I watched the first.
I'm
episodes and
amazed to
skipped
God
the
a second
season
season that they weren't just like, all right, we need to kill this before it gets any worse. But my number one is Parks and Recreation.
Hell yes, my
That
man.
show fucking slaps.
It does. It is also my number one. So let's just tag team this boy.
See, every single character in that show, as unlikable as they can be or whatever, has a very meaningful contribution to the show, and it's always fucking humorous.
Yes.
From Tammy 1, Tammy 2, fucking Patton Oswalt's character, I can never remember his name.
Oh, I never remember.
Because I'm dog shit at that. And like, Ron Swanson to fucking Leslie Knope, like fucking Andy Dwyer. Every single character, usually in every episode, has a line that's just a fucking bullet.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow, what the fuck? Like, I didn't even realize you were involved in this episode, but here we are.
Yeah. And I like the fact that they, like, a lot of that show is improvised.
Yeah.
And it clearly, especially with Chris Pratt's character, he improvised, like, every line of the show. And, like, it's so good. Like, just every character just has, like, such a good, like, personality. Well, not, like, a good personality, but, like, because some of them are supposed to be shitbags. But, like, you get what I'm saying? Like, they're all, like, very, like, well, like, they're all likable characters, and they have, like, these very distinct personalities, and you just grow to, like, love all of them for, like, what they're there to be doing and everything, and just, they're all just, every single character, like Brendan was saying, has just crazy one-liners, like, not every episode, but, like, every character has their time to shine, and it's, like, it's hard to even pick a favorite, because, like, everyone is so good.
What cracks me up is it's literally a small department in a municipal government. And it like, the show treats it like it's like the fucking like national election.
Right.
Like when like the episode when Leslie Knope gets elected to the council.
Right.
Like it's literally like Trump versus Clinton.
Pretty
like,
much.
It is like to that level.
Yeah.
Damn.
Like and then like Lil Sebastian, fucking they got Genuine on that episode. Holy shit.
Oh my god.
Like fucking
Lil Sebastian.
they got
may he
Chris
rest in
Bosh
peace.
through rest in peace, man. What, 5,000 candles in the wind? And who's the guy? Fuck, he's the dentist. But he's on the council. He's like he's the douchebag.
yeah.
Huge douchebag.
What's his name?
I can never.
think of it.
Wow.
I haven't watched
I haven't
the
seen that show in a
bit,
minute,
so, yeah.
but I mean I could quote literally every other line. But I could not. I can't remember that dude's name.
I can't either.
But that dude is like the perfect fucking douchebag.
Oh yeah.
Like, but dude, Parks and Recreation. Now, to the like 3 people listening to this.
These are high numbers. You're really.
Well, you gotta
Highballing
Shooting for the stars there, Bucko.
I'm shooting for the moon, bud. But to the 3 people listening to this, if you are gonna start Parks and Recreation, and every guy I work with, I tell them the same shit. You know, they ask me how the show is. Do not watch season 1. It is trash.
Yeah,
Skip
it's
it.
really bad.
Skip that shit.
It is a miracle that it ever got a second
Season-
season. Honestly,
Season 2, the show is still figuring out. It's getting its footing.
Mm-hmm.
But 3 to the end is pure comedy gold.
Oh yeah,
Like any of those episodes you can throw on, and I'm just laughing my ass off from start to finish.
yeah. It's one of those shows where it's like I've watched the whole thing like several times, and like if an episode is just on randomly on TV, like I will sit and watch it, and like just like it's one of those shows you can just watch at any point, like anytime, and if it's on, it's just a good time. I remember back in college. When we were living together.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we were roommates, and Cody was our roommate too. And I remember there was this one day that me and Cody were there in the apartment by ourselves, and we didn't have any plans for the day. It was just like a lazy Saturday. We get up like 9 a.m. We turn the TV on, and we're like, oh, it's Parks and Rec. Let's just sit here and watch it. They played 2 seasons straight, and we didn't leave the couch the entire day.
Yep.
And I had already seen all of those seasons like 2 or 3 times by that point. And I still enjoyed it just as much as I did the first time. And that was a great fucking day.
Yep.
Yeah. Like, it was like that. That is like the quality of the show. Like, you can literally just sit and watch entire seasons at a time, multiple times, and just have just a grand old time doing it. Like, it's so appealing. It's so good. I love it. It's a great show.
Parks and Rec, baby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do have a
Oh.
question
What
about
is it?
Parks and Rec.
Sure.
If you had to give me like one sole reason to watch that show, because it's one of those shows that like so many people praise really highly, and I've never watched it. What is like the number one reason that I or anyone, I guess anyone listening, should watch it?
Ron Swanson.
We could all give our own.
Ron Swanson. Definitely.
Yeah, you could.
And Chris
You want-
Pratt.
Yeah, just if I were to give my reason, it's just the chemistry between all the characters, even the characters you absolutely fucking hate. You realize that in the plot of the show and in the essence of humor for the show, they are completely 100% necessary, and it is like completely unforced how they portray their character and kind of develop the show. Like in other comedies, you feel like we were talking about earlier in this podcast, you know, like a lot of jokes are forced and they don't land. Like Parks and Rec from season 3 on, now like I said, season 1 and 2, forget about it. But season 3 on, like nothing feels super forced and everything seems to land.
Right.
You know, like the show is just like hit after hit after hit after hit, and you're like,
Right.
oh my god, I'm amazed they haven't had a slip up yet.
Right. Like it feels way more natural and laid back than any other comedy. It's in the same vein as The Office, but like more so.
Better.
Like the characters have more charm, I think, and like it's like you can tell that they're improvising everything, but it's so well done and the chemistry is so good and they play off each other so well that like it just works. And it's fucking magical, like, when it does. Like, they just have these fucking scenarios and jokes and situations that are just completely ridiculous. And, like, it's one of the few shows, like, all the shows on my list, obviously, I think they're funny. And I'll be, like, laughing out loud. This is the one show that just, like, gets me, like, super hard. Like, I'll be laughing for, like, whole episodes sometimes. Like,
Yep.
it's so just genuinely funny and great. And, yeah.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah. It's
Go,
Oh.
You go get it, Chipper. Say even more.
Fucking get you
It's-
some, Chipper.
in the same way, same vein of like Community. It's also when you're watching it, you're just happy. Like everything, it's just a positive show, in my opinion. It just never makes me feel sad. I'm just like you know what? I'm as happy as they are. And you're like rooting for every character for everything they're doing. You're just like, you know what? I hope they do it.
Yeah.
Yep.
That is accurate.
Damn. I definitely, like, so many people just tell me that it's good, and that's it. Like, they just stop there. So, like, hearing you guys talk about it this much, it's just like, well, damn, okay. I guess I'll have to give it a little
Dude,
look.
like it's like season 1, skip it. Season 2 is, you know, you can
Season
watch
2,
it.
you should watch it for the context of the story and the character development, but like it's not as good as like 3 through 5.
But 3 is where the show finally
Yeah.
finds its groove
yeah.
and just fucking runs with it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they have a lot of one-off characters that just kill it too.
Yeah, like he was saying earlier, like Patton Oswalt's character, he's like a one-off character, but like if it's your first time like watching it, like you'd think that he was there to stay with like the amount of like fucking just quality that he puts into his character. Like just all it's shocking how they give all of these one-off characters so much personality. Like to the point that like it rivals that of like the main cast. Like it's crazy.
Wow.
And like all the
Yeah.
side characters too, like they'll just show up randomly, but like they just do such a good job with it.
Yeah, they show up randomly, but then they completely take over the script, and it's
Right.
like, wow, they're a much more major player than like previously thought of.
Yeah.
Dang. Yeah, I'm going to have to give it a little watch, because
Not
that's...
a little.
Oh, dude, you're
Give it a lot of watch.
dude, especially if you start with like, season 2 you gotta get through, but like if you were to start season 3, like you will not stop till you get done with season 6.
Yeah.
That's just how it is.
Like you will binge it. It won't be a
Yeah.
choice at that point. Like, it's just gonna happen naturally.
Yeah, it's just the most.
Yeah.
It's like the most bingeable show I've ever seen.
It also ends well too.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah,
weird.
it is a satisfying ending. Even though the last season was completely unnecessary and arguably
It
one of the
was.
weaker seasons, but the ending
Yeah.
was still very satisfying. They
Yeah.
they close all the that was a shitty metaphor I started. I don't even know where I was going. They
It's
tie
not
up,
fucking
they tie up
lost.
all the loose ends and like you get to see what everyone ends
It's
up
not.
doing and
It's not
good.
Lost. It's not How I Met Your Mother.
Yeah.
They actually tie everything together.
Yeah.
But 3 through 6 is absolute comedy gold.
Yeah.
Like if there is ever a comedy Hall of Fame, you need to get seasons 3 through 6. Fucking get a DVD set and just put that shit in there.
Hell yeah, dude.
You know, people will walk by the bus and they'll be like, "Oh my god, I remember the days."
Walk by the bus.
Bus.
Oh, I thought you said bus too. I was like, what the fuck are you talking
Oh,
I
about?
heard
no,
the bus.
It's probably gonna get edited out. But
He's making
You
the
know
call
how-
now.
you know, in the Football Hall of Fame, how like basically there's like a mini statue of every player's head.
Well, bust.
That's called
Bust.
that. Yeah.
There we go.
But like
I got it
that's
now.
what I mean. They should get a DVD set of seasons 3 through 6, turn it into a bust, and put it into the Comedy Hall of Fame.
Okay.
And it'd
now
be
I
like,
get it.
Dang.
it'd be like, okay, like, and people will walk by and be like, I remember seeing that shit live. Like,
Just
like,
tears coating the floor. Like,
Oh my god.
like when they remember like Barry Sanders, they'll be like, oh, I remember we fucking scored touchdowns. But instead, it's like comedy.
Yeah. So if you take
That's
nothing,
a wide fucking metaphor, but it comes back to circle.
if you take nothing else away from this podcast, fuck every other thing on this list. Watch Parks and Rec.
Parks
if you're,
and
gonna
fucking
if you're
Rec.
not gonna take
I
the time to
guess
watch
so.
anything else on this list, Parks and Rec is the only one that matters.
Although, check out Monk.
Sure. I mean, yeah. Check out everything.
Check out everything on
if
this
you
list.
have the time. But if you only have the time for one, in me and Brennan's heavily biased opinion, fuck everything else and watch Parks and Rec.
Parks and Rec, baby.
It's worth it.
Ron Swanson dominates every single scene.
He does.
It is glorious. Nick Offerman's a fucking G.
Well, this has been a wild ride, gentlemen, but it's about time that we wrap it up. I think it was, it's fun though. It's a quality first episode. Hope y'all enjoyed it. Just want to thank you all for listening to this episode of the Tippity Top Podcast. If you were entertained by what you heard, maybe give this video a like, give it a thumbs up, or if you want to see more stuff like this, because we're going to be making more, you can subscribe to our channel, Talks a Lot Boys. We're going to be putting out a lot more of these things. Maybe new shows in the future, possibly. Maybe in the distant future. Yeah, so if you like what you see, just, support us. Hit us in the comments. Let us know what your top 5 sitcoms are, because we would love to hear them. And, thanks for all 2 of you for finishing listening to this.
Watch Parks and Rec, motherfucker.
Yes, watch Parks and Rec.
Community.
Or any of it.
Or
As
Psych.
we've said,
Any
I'm
of
glad that we're circling. But
Watch Psych.
oh my god. All right, we have been the Talks a Lot Boys, and we will talk a whole lot more next time. We'll see you later.